What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Christian Witch Podcast. I'm your host, Chosen, also known as at Christian Witch HTX over on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. And you can find me on Twitter, but it's Christian Witch X, not HTX, because someone stole my username. Feel free to cough it up. I'm just kidding. But I'm actually now on YouTube as of this evening. Go on YouTube and find me. It's at Christian Witch HTX. I uploaded an introduction to my channel, a welcoming video, and I'll have a book review up. Actually, I take that back. A book recommendation up. I'm going to post it later this evening. So hopefully by the time you're hearing this, it'll be live. But yeah, I'm so excited to be back. This week we're going to have 2 episodes because last week we were just so busy. We had a lot going on. Unfortunately, we had a death in the family, and although we're all doing pretty okay, and by the way, I appreciate all the messages on social media about that. It was just kind of like a lot going on that week at one time, so I kind of just took a break. But yeah, so I'm excited to be back and to dive in. So if you're ready, I want you to welcome my best friend, my soul sister. Literally, I'm pretty sure we're soulmates. We're meant to do work in this life together. And she's also my ministry partner, and I couldn't imagine doing this work without her. And I'm just super grateful. She betters me in every way, and she challenges me and allows me to grow without judgment. And I just honor her and I welcome her to this podcast. So if you will please open your hearts and welcome Lux from Intuitive Therapy by Lux. How's it going?
Hey.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a great introduction. I'm like really honored to be here. So Chosen, thanks for having me on. And like he said, I'm Lux. I do Intuitive Therapy by Lux. That's my business. You can find me on Instagram at Lux Intuitive Therapy. And my website is luxintuitivetherapy.com.
We think. We're not sure right now, but we think.
It is.
I'm just kidding.
I promise. I promise. You can go check me out there. I have tons of services. I focus on healings and readings. So I do physical, emotional, and spiritual healing, as well as a ton of different readings like Chosen does. So yeah, check me out.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Don't worry, you guys. I will have all of the links in the description when I post this on social media. I'm also going to be adding a link on my landing page, solo.2/ChristianWitchHTX. That's going to direct you to Lux's information. That way you can find all of her stuff from now on. That being said, what was I going to say? We've had a long day. We've actually been to every store imaginable. It was pretty mundane. Tell them what we did.
Okay.
We just went shopping. That's all we did.
Yeah, I mean, we always shop. That's kind of like our mundane thing that we love to do.
Our muggle activities.
We actually, makeup is a common interest of ours, and we just love makeup.
Yeah.
But anyway, should I introduce what we may be talking about on YouTube soon?
Let's hold it for a minute.
Okay, that's the surprise.
That's the surprise. Actually, you know what? I'm lying. I mentioned it in the last podcast.
Okay, so actually, Chosen and I are launching the Elysium Academy of Mystical Arts.
Training in witchcraft, healing, and psychic development. It's a 15-week course. It's super intensive. It's not going to be a bunch of fluffy theory. It's like, we're trying to, long story short, create a resource that is everything we wish we would have had over the last 10 years that we've been developing. And so once you come out of this 15 weeks, you will not be a beginner. You will be beyond an intermediate and well onto your way advanced. You will be trained in so many different skills. It's not going to be something that we try to rob you of your money from, but it will be something you pay for. And I'm super excited about that. But also, I just remember we also are going to be talking about other things on YouTube soon. We have a series coming up. You want to tell them about that?
Okay, so this is what I was originally talking about when we were on the makeup train. So we think we want to do magic and makeup, where we'll be getting ready together, putting some makeup on, and also talking about all things magical, spiritual, or whatever you guys really want to hear about. And I think that will be so fun because, these get ready with me style videos, I like watching them, but I haven't seen anyone in this particular spiritual community do something like that. And I just think that would be really interesting to meld those two things together.
Yeah. Speaking of content ideas, you guys, I am in desperate need of, and by desperate, I don't mean like actually desperate. I actually have a list of different ideas, but I really I do this podcast to serve you guys and to build our community here. And by the way, we are doing such a great job at doing that. I get so many messages from new listeners, and there's just so much love that goes around. It's rare that I ever find someone critiquing what's going on here. So I just want to say thank you for that. But, anyways, back to the point. I want to hear some ideas, like what topics, what questions, like what do you want me to address in coming episodes on my YouTube channel, coming episodes on the Christian Witch podcast. I want to make sure that I'm giving you content that you want. So definitely always feel free to message me or comment on the post on Instagram or TikTok. Also in the YouTube channel, I'm going to be hopefully trying to upload the Christian Witch podcast there so people who don't have any of the other services like Apple or Spotify or Google can find it there. Comment, over there on those videos. But in addition to that, keep in mind I will be posting all of Lux's social media information. Why don't you guys give her some ideas of what you would like to hear her talk about?
Yeah, that would really help me out. I think I would just like to say, because I forgot to mention this, even though Chosen and I call each other different things, he goes by, psychic medium, empath, things like that. We are both light workers. And I
Mm-hmm.
just choose to call myself an intuitive therapist, which is basically the same thing. So, intuitive therapy utilizes the practitioner's connection with the divine, their intuition, empathic, psychic, and mediumistic abilities, as well as their ability to raise their consciousness level sufficiently enough to receive healing guidance and messages for their clients. So essentially, we do the same things, and don't let it throw you that we just use different terms. In fact, we had to come to terms with that when we first met. We
Yeah.
talked about it so many times, trying to figure out what is the difference here? Is there common ground, or we just do the same
A lot
thing?
of things comes down to semantics,
Right.
terminology, vocabulary. I'm in the habit of, I'm sure anyone listening that grew up in church or like just was involved in church for like a short amount of time, even, I find myself speaking Christianese, and it's so dumb. And not to like be mean about anything, but it's like other people outside of that world don't understand you. So
Yeah, and I totally feel that, because a lot of the times he has to decipher his Christianese for me, but that's okay because I have to decipher my metaphysician stuff to him, and that's,
yeah.
I am a professional metaphysician as well. So, yeah, we just like to talk about, terminology and semantics and basic nomenclature, and really realize that, hey, I think we're all saying the same thing here.
Yeah, a lot of us are. The thing about it is that it's like you said, we are saying a lot of the same things. And yes, there are people out there that I think intention is important with vocabulary words and like conversation and like terminology, everything we're talking about right now. Part of what I love about our relationship is that I can say something and you be like, I disagree. And then we talk about it, and 10 minutes later, like, oh, yeah, we totally believe the same thing. Never
Yeah, we're on the
mind.
same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're literally saying the same
So,
thing.
but then again, there's people out there that are literally either trying to deceive or they're just ignorant. They don't fully understand what they're saying and they don't mean the same thing. So it's like, you're danged if you do, you're darned if you don't. Like,
Yeah, and another thing we talk a lot about is like gatekeeping. And I think
oh
that's what
my
makes our
God.
relationship so unique and special, especially in this community, is that we, even though we come from different backgrounds, we don't gatekeep each other's background. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're always
Yeah.
welcoming me over to the Christian side of things, and I'm always welcoming you over to the more, secular type metaphysician, different
Yeah.
spirituality, stuff like that. So,
I completely agree. I don't subscribe to the idea of cultural appropriation. I don't believe there are boundaries. We are all the creator's children. And all of God's gifts are free. That doesn't mean that, like for instance, that Lux and I should be like offering all of our services for free on a 24-hour basis. But there are times when, Spirit does move on our heart to offer someone services for free or for discounts. But what I'm saying here is that we have all access to everything that has ever been created and to everything that's ever been thought up. And that's what I really like about our relationship as well. There's not any like, oh, well, we don't talk about that over here. There is, there's something I find myself saying all the time that I can't stand. And I'm always like, oh, well, where I come from, like, this is what we said. So this is what I mean. and I feel like I'm like having to translate a different language, and it's allowing me to have more compassion for people of like even just the mundane things, like who grew up in different cultures. You know, I felt like I was very cultured as a person in general, but like this is even teaching me like I even wasn't as cultured as I thought I was, and to have compassion for people of a different worldview.
Yeah. And on that note, my mentor always told me, like, always be willing to work with people, because it is light work first. Like, yes, we do this for a living, but that's second, and God gives us full dominion, like you were saying, and abundance to all. We have that at our fingertips. So, if someone does come to me, and I'm always willing to work with them, whatever their budget may be and whatever their problems may be, I'm first trying to help them with whatever it is that they're seeking help for. And that's really what I feel I was put on this planet to do. That's why I quit my day job as an engineer to do it. So that's my priority.
Yeah, by the way, guys, we genuinely are out here trying to make a difference and be of service to the light. So if you are interested, shameless plug here, like you can book readings with us. We
Yeah,
do this full time,
absolutely.
it's our job. And again, we're not out here robbing people of money. I've had many people tell me, wow, you're so affordable. And tell me that I should be charging triple and quadruple the price that I'm charging, but I just at this moment, like I'm doing everything spirit led, and I feel like that's what makes us different, is that we're honestly honoring the voice of spirit in everything that we do, and our heart is truly for healing, and I think that is pretty unique for the realm we're in. A lot of people are turning wonderful healing concepts into the next cash grab, and that's just it gives a bad rep for us. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
um yeah, anyways.
absolutely. No, you actually used a pendulum. I was sitting right here, where you used a pendulum to figure out what you should charge.
I
I was
literally
like,
did.
that's amazing. Why didn't I think of that? That's beautiful. Yeah, there's the pendulum
I
right
have it
there.
in my pocket.
Yeah, of course, like, so anyway, but yeah, you can shameless plug, but you can check out my website. I honestly specialize in past life regression, so if anyone's interested in that, I went and got, I don't know if y'all have heard of Dolores Cannon's technique of QHHT, but a level 1 practitioner of that technique usually charges around $300. So, yeah, and she's just level 1, and that person, he or she, right? The practitioner is just certified through Dolores Cannon. I'm actually certified through the American Hypnosis Association.
Oh
So,
wow, I
yeah,
forgot about that.
yeah. So, and I charge 250. So yeah, and remember when I regressed you? That was like really fun. I love past life regressions. A lot of times it can uncover these certain phobias that one person may have. Like if you have a deathly fear of water, well, maybe you drowned in a past life. Like, let's go check that out.
I've had that specific thing come up, and so I offer past life readings where
Right.
instead of regressing you, like Lex actually took me through a regression. It was super cool, and I'm actually going to comment on that in just a moment. But I do readings where like instead of like regressing you, I just go get the information, come back, and tell you like what in a past life is hindering you in this one, go and how to heal from that. But actually, it's funny because I've had that exact thing come up. A young woman had an unfortunate encounter with water in a previous life, and she was like, "That explains so much. I'm terrified of the water,"
Wow.
and it's just crazy. And like with my um, past life regression, with the things we found out and like the organizations and stuff like that, I realized just now as we were talking about it that I am always concerned that I'm gonna be a part of something that is working for that it's like it seems good, but it's not. It turns out
Yeah.
it's like deceiving.
Right.
Yeah, and I never want that to happen.
Well, that makes sense due to your
Like,
past life
yeah, I
regressions.
know. I don't wanna share that right now though,
No, you
so
don't have to share that. But
yeah.
I think that this is a really interesting topic that I guess Spirit put on my heart to bring up, because we are on the Christian Witch podcast.
Yeah.
And, there's a big, what I've noticed, and I don't come from a Christian background, but I've talked to Christians about, past life regressions. And apparently those two things don't always mix, Christianity and
They
reincarnation.
don't.
So, why are those things mutually exclusive, and can they be reconciled? Can you be a Christian and believe in reincarnation?
So that would come down to like looking at what are the qualifications for being Christian, and that is having relationship with Jesus and being Christ-like. And how do you do that is by following him, believing in him. So, I mean, technically, yeah, you can be Christian and believe in a lot of things. Um, that being said, you know, I also am an admin of a group of about around 10,000 people on Facebook. And it's a private group called Christian Witch in the Craft. I teach on empathy and some other stuff there. Actually, I don't know why I said that. I haven't taught on empathy in a while because the post I did covered most of it. And now I just kind of like help answer questions and, I do other things. But it is, you know, our pastor there, Kimberly, Pastor Kim, she has a wonderful two-part lesson on why past lives are not supported scripturally. And the important part to understand this is that, like, you can still read that and come to the conclusion, like, well, my spirit doesn't agree with that. There are explanations, genetic memories, things like that. And, generally when I do my past life readings, I'm like, listen, just have an open heart. If you don't believe in this, that's fine. It could be genetic memories. It could be, X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. But
Symbolism, even.
symbolism, even absolutely. So sometimes, even in like the uncertainty, this like spirit can show up and still provide healing. Like, you don't
Absolutely.
always have to have it all figured out. And that's what I love about, creating this space of, the Christian Witch podcast, Christian Witch in the Craft, even being an admin and an associate with them. And is that we're reconciling beliefs and we're figuring it out together. And it's okay to say that I don't have the answers. And we'll figure them out together. I will tell you, like, officially, Christian Witch in the Craft stance is that there aren't past lives or reincarnation, that there's other explanations, but we welcome everyone, and you do not have to adhere to every one of our beliefs to be a part of our group. That's just the stance that we've found scripturally. Um, and that's where we teach from, because and the reason we do that is because we want to teach from a place of due diligence and truth, and that's the best answer we've come up with. But yeah, anyways, I feel like I've rambled enough about that subject.
Yeah, and when we're at markets or whatever, and I'm talking about myself and my services, and I'm also talking about yours, like, if anybody comes up and is like, well, what's the past life? I'm like, well, first of all, do you believe in reincarnation? That's first and foremost. And most of the time they're like, no, not really, or maybe. And I'm like, well, if you don't, I would just go ahead and skip that one. Just do something else. And I'll tell my clients that too. Like, what's a past life regression? That's the first thing I'll ask. Do you believe in reincarnation? No. Okay, well then we're not, we don't need to do that. Like we,
Yeah.
so
You
we
guys,
can
I'm
just go
messing with this light right now. It's like the LED that changes colors, and I totally threw her off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it's because he turned on this beautiful purple light. I'm like, that's
A vibe. That's a
fabulous.
vibe, man.
Yeah, it's
Listen, my
gorgeous.
favorite color's been pink since I was in preschool, and
Look, I'm not about pink, but I can get down
that
with
is a
purple.
pink.
That's a magenta, sir.
That is a pink.
Okay, well, let me tell you something.
If
Women
if
can actually see more colors than men.
Okay, we're not getting
So
into
if we
this
get
right
to a
now.
color argument, I win. Just
No,
saying.
ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, so what are we doing for real?
You know what? Hold on. I have an answer for that, okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure I'm a psychic medium and hear from God directly, and I can promise you that it is in the shade ranges closest to the pink.
Let me tell you something,
If
Reverend.
there was a pink Power Ranger standing right here, they would wear that color, okay?
Reverend.
I thought about that this morning. I was getting ready. I thought about her, and she's like, "Reverend." You guys, I said something that was contrary to a lot of like Christian beliefs. Like, I think it was something about hell. Like, hell's not
Real.
like real, or like
Yeah.
what you've been taught. And by the way, there is an episode coming up on that. And she was like, "Reverend." It was so funny, you guys. So
I said that?
no.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Should we just say her name or no? You know who.
Oh, we don't have to name drop.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
a very famous person.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Shout out B if you listen to this. But no, it was so funny. Okay, so we can record up to 30 minutes using the web browser that we're using right now. So we're at 19 and a half. So we have another 10 minutes to do whatever we want to do. So you want to do the readings?
Yeah.
Perfect. Tell them what we're doing.
All right, guys.
And by tell them, I mean tell me what we're doing.
So I'm really glad that we were able to like sit down and actually talk about some things. I'm glad I was able to explain intuitive therapy. A lot of people don't never even heard of that, and that's fine. But anyway, so now what we thought would be really fun. He has his oracle cards. I love them. They're called the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. They're gorgeous. It looks like from the cover. I'm really interested to see what that
They're
is.
so good.
And
Ugh.
I have here Alana Fairchild's White Light Oracle. I love her so much. I'm not going to sit here and totally plug her, but I love her. I have her Lightworker Oracle deck. It's amazing. And, you know, her decks just come out and find me when I'm in that place in my life. You know, I was super into like, oh, am I a star seed and all this stuff. You know, back in the day when I bought the Lightworker Oracle deck, and it doesn't just talk about that, it talks about light work, but I was just getting into understanding what that is and what my relationship with the universe is and this very cosmic type energy and meditating and floating through the stars and going to planets and all this amazing stuff. That's where I was at in that place in my life, and it was beautiful.
No
And
shame to anyone who's there.
yeah, and that deck found me, and now this place that I'm at is like trying to decipher fear and ego versus unconditional love. And, you know, what is the ego? And, you know, can I find a way to live in peace and harmony with it while also maintaining a Christ-centered like consciousness? You know what I mean? And how do you reconcile those two things? And so this deck, this White Light Oracle deck, is all about that. It's finding the sacred heart and living from that place and understanding when I'm acting out of ego.
Don't you guys love her vocabulary? It makes me feel so intelligent.
Hey man, I'm a number 5, okay? So I have a gift of the gab, apparently.
Oh my god, that's a church term. Did you know that?
Gift of gab?
Yeah.
Is it a negative
No,
connotation?
it's like, yeah, it is. It's like, well, not it's a joking, like a cheeky, like, oh, that girl can talk, like kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got that from my dad, so maybe.
Yeah, it's like something we like used to say, and like, or well, not we used to say, but like something I heard often in churches, and I would be like, that's not nice.
Oh.
They weren't being mean; they were like joking, but
Yeah, it's like poking
like some
fun
people,
at
they'd be
them.
like, oh wow, she really has a gift for worship, or she really has a gift for, you know, doing like
Because they're just doing the most.
just doing other stuff. And then no, not because they're doing the much, but then like it would be like they were honoring those people, and then they
Yeah.
would jokingly talk about like their sister and be like, and my sister, she has a gift of gab, like
Oh, I get
like
it.
they're
It's
jokingly,
like a nice
yeah,
way of saying,
it's
like,
just a teasing thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
like bless your heart.
yeah,
Yeah, a little bit.
but not being hateful at all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Okay, so we're gonna pull cards for each other.
Yeah, and also just to let you guys know, when it comes to oracle decks, I do try to read them intuitively when it comes to for myself. But it is totally cool to read the guidebooks that come with them. I use them. I think it's wonderful. And when it comes to tarot, I read intuitively, so I don't use a guidebook. I don't know what any of those cards mean. When I get a card, I ask Spirit, I'm like, what about this card are you want to highlight, and what do you want to say to this person? And that's how I do readings, and a lot of the times they're spot on. So
yeah, the intuitive tarot thing is amazing. And I'll add about oracle decks. Look, I am super picky when it comes to oracle decks. There's a lot of just stuff out there that I'm like, oh, that is not for me. I mean, like, I'm so picky. It comes down to like the packaging, the quality of the cards. Like, let me tell you something. If you get a card deck and it is in this huge box and it doesn't have its own smaller box within that box for just the cards, oh, no.
Yep.
I can't handle that. It's terrible. But you know, and another part of it is the guidebook. For oracle decks, not for my tarot. I have different meanings for tarot that are, you know, special and unique to me because it's the way that I read them. For oracle cards, the guidebook has to speak to me. It can't be a bunch of new age nonsense fluff words that mean nothing. You won't hold my attention. I can't stand it. But that's why I like Alana Fairchild so much, because she is an amazing author. And, you know, in her Lightworker Oracle deck, there's even a little quiz in the front.
OMG.
Yeah, that is like, are you a Lightworker? And it's like a genuine quiz. It's not like stupid stuff. Like, it's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Love that.
And so anyway, yeah, so in her White Light Oracle book that I'm holding right now, it's like an actual book. Like, it's thick. Like, look how thick that is. I mean, it's like half an inch. So there's like a lot of information at the beginning of the book talking about like how this deck was made, like what is this deck trying to accomplish and all this stuff. So anyway, this is a healing deck.
I love that.
Yeah, and
This one is too.
I was actually looking for a deck. Like, I need to be able to pull a card sometimes and be like, what do I need to work on today?
Have it minister to your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I was never really drawn to cards at all. Matter of fact, when I got my tarot deck for business, not business purposes, but for like practicing, like professionally, like I've been involved for a long time. But I mean, like when I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy a specific deck to like have for clients, I literally just got a good old fashioned Rider-Waite, but I looked on Amazon and got a white background. And I don't get any of the fancy other stuff. But when I saw this Oracle deck, I was drawn to it, just like I was drawn to my crystal.
Yeah.
And I tend to find the things that minister to me and that I need the most by being drawn energetically to them. And I feel like it's very much a spiritual experience. So I'm not going to be the person running around buying different decks and being like, oh, here's the top 10 decks of the year. Like, that's not how this works.
No. And
they're not toys.
I 100% agree with you. I'm super picky too, because I actually saw this deck come out. I think about when it actually did come out, like a long time ago. And I was like, oh, that's the author I like. Maybe I'll pick up that deck. Well, I was looking through it and I was like, oh, I can't really get down with the artwork on this deck. Like, I'm not really about that.
Yeah.
Like, and I just wasn't resonating with it. But it was so interesting because when I got to that place where I started reading A Course in Miracles and really looking at my relationship with not only Jesus, but with myself and, and like looking at healing myself and the ego, fear versus ego, ego and fear versus love. Like, then this deck came alive for me and I was like suddenly okay with the artwork. It was like very weird. So yeah, I totally get like, oh, I was drawn to it and I've gotten it. And I'm not one to have a million Oracle card decks either, but I'm always secretly on the hunt for them. I'm going to be
just
honest.
In case you find one that you're drawn to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely, completely understand.
Okay.
Well, here's the deal. We're at 27 minutes and I don't want to get cut off because I'm the kind of person, like, once you start ministering to me, I'm going to give you my attention.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop this recording. You guys hang in there. You really won't know a difference. It's just going to be a brief pause and we're going to figure out how to keep this going. So give me just a minute. BRB. Okay, you guys. So I think I have it figured out. I guess we'll just find out. If we get cut off, we'll stop there. And well, I'll record in a voice memo if I got to, you guys. Don't you worry. We're going to figure this DIY stuff out. Okay. All right. So what were we about to do? Oh,
okay,
Oracle readings.
About to read cards. So I think it'll work best if one of us goes first.
Okay.
And we'll chat about it and then we'll
do you want to tell me when to stop?
Yeah, I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So let me think.
Also, just to I did it again. Just to let you guys know, I do not do reversals. I feel like that speaks more about your ability to memorize things than it is to actually help you heal. So, no judgment for those.
Right there.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I just had the feeling.
Oh, I've posted this one before.
But I'll say this. I don't do reversals in tarot or oracle either. And, y'all want to know something?
Spill the tea.
Okay, so my fiance actually brought this to my attention years ago when I was reading his tarot.
No.
Okay, so check this out. If you take the cards out of the box and they're all right side up, the way I shuffle, I don't put them all on the table and mix them all around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's not how I do things. I shuffle the cards one way every single time, right? Okay. And then when I lay the cards down, I pick them up all back the same way.
So they shouldn't be reversed.
So they should never be reversed.
Same.
And he brought that to my attention. He's like, how do you expect to get a reverse card? They're either all going to be reversed or they're not.
Exactly.
It just depends on how you pick them up out of the box.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you are so right. And I stopped doing reverse cards. I was like, that makes so much sense because I wasn't going to change my style because I had been shuffling and I had this whole routine and ritual going. And I was like, I feel like messing them all up on the table I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way.
Man,
it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I don't know why.
No, I get that. Sometimes cards will fall. They'll jump out of the deck and they'll fall upside down. And so I'll look at it. The only things I'll look at are this particular oracle's reversal. And that's because it is By the way, guys, if you hear anything in the background, we are recording this at home. So if you had an image of us in some high tech,
Tech, yeah.
fancy studio, not this
Yeah,
round.
yeah. Sorry to bust your bubble.
No. But this particular Oracle deck, it's so beautiful the way it's written, and if there's a reversal, the each card has a specific meaning, and so I do consider it, but I don't ever think like, oh, something bad's gonna happen or anything like that. Like if it's crazy,
Yeah.
I just take it, and if it's good, I take it. If it's bad, I leave it.
When I did reversed, I just took it to mean that your energy is not flowing with that of the universe. You're showing resistance towards this card.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. So, you got the giveaway. I've actually posted this, I believe, on my Instagram feed,
Oh, let me
so
see
you guys
that.
can go. Feel free to hold that card. So, the essence of this card, the giveaway is a gift you offer to life without attachment, without expecting anything back. You can only give what is truly yours: a smile, a nod of encouragement, a gentle touch, and a kind word. This is not giving to others what you no longer want, like it's a sweater that nobody likes or the one that doesn't fit, but it's about gifting that which is most precious, your authentic love and genuine feelings. And that is so on point for you. So the invitation is going to be what you read when it is upright. So the invitation when you get this card is make a list of 10 people and things for which you are grateful. Connect with the feeling of gratitude. This is literally like what you do on a daily basis. Um, the giveaway comes to ask you to feel the same gratitude without needing anything or anyone to inspire it.
Mm,
That was deep. And to share this gratitude with those you meet. As you offer thanks, your heart opens and you start realizing how much life has given you. You heal your feelings of scarcity and open yourself to the abundance that surrounds you. The giveaway invites you to be in the flow of life as you give freely and receive freely. I think that's amazing. I absolutely love that. So the medicine, this is when it's reversed or upside down. So it is difficult for you to set limits on how much of yourself to give. Oh, I'm sorry. It's asking you a question. I read it wrong. It says, is it difficult for you to set limits on how much of yourself to give? If you give more than is healthy, then you will not be able to give for long. You'll feel resentful with your partner or associates, or you'll feel like the world owes you something in return. Notice if you give for any reason other than pure generosity. Are you trying to be liked or accepted? Oh my God, our friend needs to hear this.
ah,
Uh, are you hoping to heal an old wound? Start giving to yourself first and foremost. Offer yourself the care, the love, the time, and the acceptance that you're longing for. Once you experience plenty, then you can truly give to others.
wow.
I love these
Love.
cards. Aren't these
These are,
beautiful?
yeah, they are. And the artwork is gorgeous as well.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to read intuitively from this if I could before
Okay,
you
yeah, go
comment.
ahead.
So what I'm noticing about this card is that she's reaching into the light, and I feel like that's where you pull a lot of your strength. Like you have been rebirthed from the light. These wings that are expanding. It's very much demonstrative of how you rise above the average like mentality that we all operate on. And I am actually noticing there's a wing in the middle of your forehead, and I feel like that's like your mind is often on the things that are again higher realities, things of supernatural, spiritual nature, things like that. I do love these three spheres here because it shows um, the multiple dimensions in which you have authority and power and influence in, but it also it speaks about different responsibilities and the way you care and the different gifts you have. And I just really love it, and I love that your hand is out, well, the hand of the person on the card is extended into the light, and it's freely receiving. And it's all warmth and it's all beautiful, and there is no place for fear, there's no darkness in this card. I don't know. I just love that. And that's honestly the first time I've actually got a lot of intuitive out of a card in this deck. So,
Oh, really?
or a lot of intuitive information.
Yeah.
There we go.
No, thank you for saying that. That's like really sweet of you also.
Yeah.
He's like really like hyping me up today. It's great. He's like my hype man. Yeah, dude, I love that. And I really took it as like a reminder of, you know, look back and think about where you were. And 100%, me and God, we got on the same page. And this new life of mine, this new path of mine manifested in front of me before my eyes. and not without Chosen. You know what I mean? He was a huge part in where I'm at right now. And I just thank God for that. But do I actually, so to speak, get on my knees and thank God for that every day? No. And maybe I
Yeah,
should, and
same.
I think that that's what that card was, a healthy reminder of an attitude of gratitude, which is a whole segment in itself, how
Yeah.
gratitude is an action word, and actually giving away freely of your gifts now that you're able to do that, now that you have found yourself and you're in the right place, like now go share those gifts. And I like
Yeah.
how it's talking about what did it say? Call 10 people up
It says
or
make a
make a
list.
list.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
I will
like,
do
and
that.
it's of people or things that you're grateful for, and then try to feel that same generosity without having anyone or anything to associate it with.
Oh,
So
I
it's like
see. So just
really
like,
learning how to tap into generosity and experience that regardless if there's a reason for it.
yeah, and you know what that means to me is, and to me, this is, I don't know what this is. Maybe some of your Christianese can come in and like
Yeah, I
help me
love that.
define what this is,
Yeah,
because I don't have
please.
words for it. But there will be some times where I get overwhelming bouts of gratitude that almost move me to tears for just,
Yeah.
oh my, I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm alive, I'm well, I'm living my best life. I'm so grateful, and I
Yeah.
just come into this moment of gratitude with God that, like I said, it's very strong, it's moving. It's like I
Yeah.
almost want to cry, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know what that is, but it's like God just like almost bestows upon me a moment of
Yeah.
like, look where you're at. You're breathing. You woke up today and you're grateful for that. Like one
Yeah.
time I remember I was listening to music and just became, and this is so dumb, but I just became so grateful that I could hear,
Oh, wow, that's
because some
beautiful.
people can't. And I know that just sounds like, oh yeah,
No, no, no,
she's just
no.
trying to
Mm-mm.
sound
I
like,
promise you, the people
no.
listening to this will completely
No,
understand.
like I did, and it was just the weirdest thing, like, I can hear this music and some people can't, and again, I almost
Yeah.
got moved to tears that, 'cause I and these are things that we take for granted every day, and it's like I get these moments where it's just like, I can hear today, and some
Yeah.
people can't, and I'm so freaking grateful for that.
Yeah, I get often,
Is
I
there a
get
word for
s
that in Christianese?
no, I think it's more, I think it really is about you operating out of a place of like love and being having your heart in the position to where you can be aware and experience gratitude like that, where a lot of people really have to fight to feel that way.
Yeah.
And it's it also speaks about humility, authentic humility for you, accepting the position you're in, and then you know it speaks about your walk with God, because I mean, if you want to like refer to scripture, like it says we enter into his gates with thanksgiving and praise.
Mm.
So praise isn't all about just like hyping up God. It's recognizing the good around us. It's being thankful for the blessings we have. I get very similar feelings, like especially when I see um, people in need. So, for instance, I often will see somebody in a store, and my heart just like I start to feel it's almost like the best way I can describe it is like I start feeling sorry for them, but it's not pity.
Right,
And
yeah.
I'm very big on compassion.
Yeah.
I try to operate in compassion, and the difference is that sympathy is just pity. Compassion is seeing someone's situation, understanding, and having the power to change it and bringing it to them. It's an
Mm.
actionary thing.
Yeah.
And there's times where like I feel like my heart aches when I see people in need. Um, and yeah, anyways, I'm not getting off on that tangent, but my point being is like I understand what it's like to just have these moments where you're like you see what really matters in life,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful, and I think that really speaks to your heart. So
Yeah, and it's just amazing because it's like these unsolicited gifts from God. Like, I don't know,
yeah,
because I didn't do any, I was just going about my day, listening to music or getting out of the shower or going to bed or waking up or whatever. And it's just like this gift of gratitude gets bespoke, like,
yeah,
on
it's
me.
one of his angels or spiritual
Yeah,
beings
something
that
just like,
stirs gratitude in your
yeah,
heart.
it's crazy. I don't know where it comes from. It's
Yeah,
literally, it's grace, is all I can explain
yeah,
that, because that is, not to get too much into my background or history, but that is not the place that I lived in for a very long time, a very large part of my life. And it's just these little things like this I'm noticing about myself. And I'm like, where did that come from? Like, that's God right there.
yeah. It's
Because,
it's it's a testimony.
right. I mean, I could not do that for myself. I could not muster or elicit or invoke those random bouts of gratitude like
And
that.
authentically experience them.
And and authentically experience them.
You know, it's funny because I was thinking about when we were talking about the card. It's it's really cool how just saying yes to God, saying yes to Spirit Creator, saying yes to spiritual development, saying yes to yourself, um, can lead you to a path where you may not always feel ready or prepared to help others. And it's funny how much healing occurs in you when you help others heal. It's it's kind of like, like when you give something or you help someone who honestly just has nothing to offer you in return, could never return a favor. It changes something inside of you. And I'm not saying that is not a prideful thing, that is not a power trip thing. I mean, in a genuine way, like it changes your heart. It makes you see life for what it really is, and it humbles you. But yeah, there's just so much healing that flows when you're helping others heal. And I think a big misconception in this whole world is that like, oh, you can't dive into this until you're totally healed, and that's just a lie. It's a lie from hell, which doesn't exist, but that's a lie.
Yeah, and I
And-
was always told progress, not perfection. I mean, we're obviously
yeah,
aiming for perfection, but at the same time, like we on this three-dimensional, plane, like we have the ego to contend with. Like, will
yeah.
that ever be eradicated? I'm not sure. I
Who
don't think
knows?
so. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know, right? So we're
I
never
concur.
going to be perfect, and we're not saints.
Yeah,
There's always going to be more healing and more work to be done on ourselves. And honestly, that may be why we're here.
yeah.
That may be it. I
Maybe
mean,
it.
that who knows?
Yeah. Anyways, but not to get too sappy on you guys.
Yeah, but these cards just they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like these type of readings.
Okay, we're 14 minutes in, and I want my reading, sis.
Yes, I'm
Because it only lets you
gearing up
record for 30
right
minutes at a
now.
time.
Gearing up right now. So I do it a little differently. So I am going to shuffle like I normally do, and
Do
I just
whatever you
let
wanna
you
do.
cut the cards. So you know how you
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah, let's do it.
so I actually forgot to mention, but I I asked, what do I need to know right now?
Oh,
So
before I drew your card?
yeah, so remaining
That's
in gratitude. You
beautiful.
don't have to but you can ask a question like
No, I just
remember
want
this is a
something general.
healing
Yeah.
a healing deck, so.
Yeah, I just receive anything that I need to receive right now. Sorry, I thought we could use some background music.
There it is.
Okay. Theta of Venus. Oh, girl, I already know what this is saying to me.
You do?
Yes, this is telling me to go deep and to rest and restore and to heal. This is telling me to go into a place spiritually that I am just withdrawn from the physical and in the spirit, and where healing occurs and experiencing that realm.
You're really putting yourself on the line because I'm about to read what the book says. So let's see if these are
No, but okay, so that being said, I have no problem letting you guys know if I'm wrong. A lot of times in my intuitive readings, I'll tell you, hey, you get to take a picture of the cards, and sometimes it's spot on and adds to it. Sometimes you get two messages, but this is what you need to hear. So all I know is that this imagery is speaking to me that way, and that's how spirit ministered to me immediately. So let's see what the book says.
Yeah. It says, attune yourself to higher consciousness by choosing to access the purest frequencies of love within. Acknowledge lower frequencies such as judgment, fear, doubt, or shame when they arise within or around you, but do not give to them a foothold in your heart. You are ready for higher understanding to see things in a new and more positive light. Allow your inner knowing to guide you on a unique, beautiful, and highly spiritual life path. Venus is our morning and evening star, the stellar goddess and the guardian of transcendental awareness and higher consciousness of the heart. She is the way shower of light and a fifth dimensional reality, also known as unity consciousness. And I love that term. Her spiritual guardianship of humanity will be complete when our mass consciousness is based on love, light, and divine feminine wisdom. When you connect with Venusian energy, it is an opportunity for increased love, magnetism, and spiritual charisma. You got a lot of spiritual charisma. A chance to shine your light and manifest your soul's purpose with increased grace, synchronicity, and sacred artistry. Her appearance in a reading signifies a time of creative and spiritual awakening. It is a reminder of the power of the heart and our ability to rise again after a time of karmic heaviness. The souls of Venus, her sons and daughters upon this earth, are not spiritually bound by the mass consciousness of human collective. They naturally vibrate at a more loving frequency. They can be genuinely astonished by the cruelty, meanness, and displays of dominance that typify the dark side of the human nature. Yet they have chosen to temporarily incarnate and bind their souls temporarily to the laws of nature. As they grow alongside their beloved earthly brothers and sisters, they share the higher resonance of their heart light, opening up the way for human evolution. The spiritual sons and daughters of Venus belong here, and yet at this inner level, they know they are not from here. This oracle reminds you that you are not bound by the ways of this world, and that part of your higher purpose is to help heal, soften, and awaken humanity. Even if you find it hard to feel at home on Earth, perhaps sensing you're from the stars, Venus or otherwise, you know you are meant to be here and that you belong in a very special way. There is a home here for you with Mother Earth. You are loved and needed and will attract whatever support you require to fulfill your destiny. Venus souls have a particular talent for creating beauty, working with light and spiritual energy, and calling them whenever they want or need. You have your own healing journey, and part of that journey is your spiritual training in the ways of the earth at this time. This will teach you what is needed to heal yourself and others. You don't need to be afraid of the ways of the world. You are a part of a spiritual team that is here to help transform mass consciousness. Theta is a narrow range between 7 and 8 hertz, which we access during deeper meditations and light sleep, including the dream state. The brain enters this state during the in-between times, such as when we are falling asleep or waking up from deep sleep. These are moments which our capacity to create our consciousness is heightened. At these times, we become aware of deep-seated programming and are able to heal by reframing it. During this state, you are conscious, yet your body is deeply relaxed. You see everyday realities through the inner spiritual eye and come to understand yourself and your life with a spiritual insight. Put simply, you may see things differently when you are in the theta state, and your life may make much more sense to you. And in a reading, the appearance of this oracle is a special reassurance from Spirit that everything is unfolding within the protective grace and divine love, even if sometimes it appears not to be so. It also indicates that you have the power to heal yourself and change your life for the better. And there is a healing process. Do you want to hear it?
Absolutely.
That's why I love this deck. It's like, okay,
There's
here's
so
what
much
you do.
information.
I know, it's crazy. Okay, healing process. Find a place where you can relax, such as your bed or lounge, without being disturbed or distracted, and place your hand on your heart and say the following prayer. I call upon the spiritual guidance which loves me unconditionally and the higher guiding angels of Venus and Theta, that I may experience through grace, mercy, and compassion that which is most beneficial to my well-being for the greatest spiritual good of all sentient beings. It is now time to go through a relaxation process. And basically, it just tells you how to relax if you don't know, because this book is actually, it has practical little things like exercises that you can do, like you're healing. This is what you do to heal this, you know? And I really like that, but you know how to relax. So you can do that on your own time.
I love that. This card, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's part of like where I've been at, and like I think like hearing you say that, like I do feel like I am coming out of that stage, but I definitely feel like I needed it.
Yeah. No, we always do. And I saw something the other day, and it was like, you know, our lifetime isn't linear, it's circular. And we're always going to circle back to previous things that we thought that we had worked out. To look at them again, and so that we can find deeper truths from those things.
Dude.
And I was like, oh my gosh, is that why I keep learning the impatience lesson? Because I swear that lesson is a reoccurring thing in my life where I'm always trying to learn patience, you know?
Yeah.
But I love that. There was so much information in there that I'm like trying to unpack it as I'm talking.
Same.
But
I was like lost in thought the whole time.
I feel like you were right talking about unplugging from mass consciousness, basically.
I feel like what I meant by that was like operate, like go into that place and make assessments.
Right.
And I feel like that's what the card said.
And also you've been saying, man, I really need to get into a routine where I meditate.
I have been saying that.
Yeah.
Like I've been so bad at like a daily practice of some spiritual nature for the last few weeks.
Dude, me too.
So that's just so funny. I mean, because I feel like, never mind. It's all on point. I love it.
I know, I love that deck, and I like your deck too. That's really cool.
Dude, that has a lot of fancy words in it.
It has a lot of information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I told you it's a thick book.
Dude, I like it. But anyways, okay, guys. Well, that was our oracle readings. Any last things you want to say?
Check out my website.
Yes, please check out her website. Definitely feel free to book a reading with us. If you're in the Houston area, come see us at one of our events. You can always find it posted on our social media accounts, and I have a Google business page up. Do you have one of those up yet?
No.
Okay, well, long story short, I'm trying to be good about adding the events on there. So come say hi to us. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Love you so much. Thank you so much for doing this podcast with me. Just to let you guys know, she most likely will be on future podcasts as a
Oh, absolutely.
reoccurring guest.
Yeah.
Like, it's just too easy with her. But yeah, anyways. Okay, love you guys so much.
All right. Thank y'all for
And
listening. Thanks, Chosen, for having me.
yes. Okay, bye.